Today, we're going to get into something really fascinating and, well, deeply personal. It's an idea called the arithmetic of attachment. It's all about one person's attempt to map out their connections and their losses. Think of it like a ledger for the soul. It's a pretty unique way to look at a life spent trying to love everyone. So let's just jump right in with the big question that drives this whole thing. And it's a real mind bender. Is it possible to love so many people that you actually end up completely alone? It's one of those thoughts that it sticks with you? And this quote right here, it just nails the central conflict. The whole idea is that having a huge capacity for love isn't just a ticket to endless joy. Nope, it means you are, by default, signing up for more heartbreak. The two are just completely tied together. You can't have one without the other. Okay, so let's start where he did with his core belief system. He calls it the expansion hypothesis, and it's basically the single idea that shaped his entire life's journey. See, for him, this wasn't just some abstract theory. It came directly from his childhood. He grew up in what he describes as a crowded cradle, a big, warm, loving family. And that taught him that love wasn't some scarce resource you had to ration. It was just there, an ambient condition, kind of like the air you breathe, always present, always available. So the whole thesis was actually pretty simple and optimistic. The heart isn't like a cup that can be filled up. Instead, it just expands. The more people you let in, the bigger it gets to make room. And this simple belief, well, it became the foundation for a lifelong experiment in just how connected one person could be. Which, of course, brings us to section 2. This is where we get to see how he actually put that hypothesis to the test. He lived a life that was basically dedicated to collecting as many relationships as humanly possible. And he did it in these really distinct phases. It all started in his family, that warm, noisy organism where he first learned the language of being likable. Then he moved into the service industry, which was the perfect place to harvest what he calls micro-connections from thousands of people. And finally, he became this gypsy of belonging, moving through the world and mastering the skill of forming these incredibly fast, deep bonds everywhere he went. And look, this went way beyond just being a friendly guy. This was a finely tuned skill. He became a collector of people, of experiences, of little snapshots of their souls. He saw the world not as a scary place, but as a series of welcoming committees, just waiting for him to show up. His social universe was just constantly expanding, with new orbits of connection always forming around him. But, you knew there was a but, right? This is where we hit the turning point. All that beautiful, optimistic math starts to show its dark side, the inverse equation. Welcome to the arithmetic of absence. He starts keeping this mental balance sheet, this ledger of the soul, and he realizes that for every credit of joy, every new friend, every shared laugh, there is eventually a debit of grief on the other side. Friendships fade, people's priorities shift, and that beautiful family chorus he grew up with, well, voices start falling silent. It's just the law of large numbers applied to the human heart. And the heartbreak isn't always some big, dramatic explosion. He talks about the slow, crushing weight of what he calls micro-bereavements. Think of it like a million tiny hairline fractures. Each one is a small goodbye, a faded connection, and over a lifetime, they add up, leaving the heart completely exhausted. This is what hits so hard. He talks about losing his family, and it wasn't just about losing the people he loved. They were the witnesses to his life. They held the shared memories that made him who he was. And as they disappear, he's left with this terrifying question. If there's no one left to witness your life, are you still you? And this all leads to the central, gut punch of a paradox in his life. By every possible measure, he is relationally rich. He knows so many people. But at the same time, he's phenomenologically alone, which is a fancy way of saying that in his actual moment-to-moment experience of life, he feels an incredible solitude. So, what's the takeaway from all this? Where does it all end up? Well, Section 4 gives us the final sum, the conclusion drawn from a lifetime of data collection. I mean, this was the whole point of the experiment, wasn't it? To see if you could build a social safety net so huge, so strong, that it could actually save you from that fundamental loneliness of being human. Could you weave a net of people that would catch you at the end? The answer comes in these stark, simple statements. First, this one. The lifelong project has come to an end. All the evidence has been gathered. A whole life's worth of hellos and goodbyes, of connections made and connections lost. It's all been counted. And here it is, the final result. That foundational myth he started with, it was wrong. The hypothesis that more love and more connection could protect you from loneliness has been disproven. And this is the key to understanding why it failed. All those connections, all those threads stretching across the world are real, but they exist mostly as memories or as little pulses of light on a screen. And those threads, they are not arms. Those wires are not a hand to hold when you really need one. Digital connection just isn't a substitute for physical presence. But here's the thing. The ending isn't just one of total failure. The experiment may not have achieved its goal, but it proved something else. A life absolutely soaked in love and affection, even when those people are gone, leaves something behind. It leaves a permanent mark, a stain of meaning. And he says, I am that stain. Lonely? Yes, but forever and indelibly colored by all the love he knew. And that is a truly beautiful, if heartbreaking, final thought.